Meetings are the capstone of Etho, and with all the improvements that we've made throughout the rest of the application, of course, we've made improvements to meetings. First off, we can look at this leadership meeting, and we're simply looking at the meeting preview. So we haven't started the meeting just yet. And just to show you some of the features of our meetings, you can rearrange the agenda right from the meeting preview if you want, placing items right where you would like them to go. Before the meeting, you could rearrange this after the meeting. You could switch up these agenda items week after week, month after month, right on the fly, depending on the importance of each item that particular day. You can also edit the meeting from the meeting preview. You don't have to go back out and click the little gear. You can simply click edit here, and you will see all the normal toggles to turn certain agenda items on or off. But you can see we've added lots of new features down here, such as embedded items, so you can import shared documents that can be collaborated upon within the meeting, custom forms, form reports, even the business planner if you want to discuss that within the meeting. And you can do that right from the meeting preview. Also, you can see specific meeting statistics for this particular meeting. Every time a meeting is started and then ended, these particular statistics will update themselves. You can send invitations to users who are in the attendee list and in the organization, or if you would like attendees from outside of the organization who do not have Etho accounts to attend your meetings, you can invite guests. Simply click this button and either invite by email, where you'll get a nice simple little modal to put in email addresses, a message, and some other options, or you can create a link simply to send a copy and then send to people you want to attend the meeting as guests. On the segue page, you can add a sticky note just to remind people of maybe what they need to do while they're waiting for the meeting to officially start. And finally, you can collapse the agenda to give yourself a little bit more space to see what's going on over here within the main meeting section. Now let's start the meeting and see a couple of improvements from that aspect. So our meeting has started and we have our timer as normal. You see this little toggle here called no sleep. This is specifically important for mobile devices. So if you're on your phone or maybe a tablet, you can click this no sleep toggle on and it will force your phone or your mobile device to stay awake, as opposed to going to sleep and then the little hat tip showing up at the bottom that you left when really your phone just went to sleep. So this is a new feature that allows the meeting to stay open on your mobile device. You can also now pause meetings. So let's say we need to take a quick little break. We can pause our meeting and it will keep track of how long the meeting was paused. You can see here in the background that the meeting is still running, but this pause feature will allow for reporting of when we've taken a break within our allotted meeting time. When we are done with our little break, all we have to do is click resume and we are back. Live scoring in the scorecard. Simply type in the metrics for each individual member. Members can do this themselves if they have those permissions. And as soon as those numbers are entered, they are available down here in the graph. You can collapse your raw data at the top to view the graph. And as always, you can either look at the actual numbers or you can look at the percentage of those goals. So we can see a 100 is right here, and it makes it a little bit more relative. You can see where each individual is within their individual goals. Moving on to IDS, we have a couple features here. First off, if you see this little counterclockwise circle, you can see if this issue has been discussed before. So let's say we began discussing an item and we didn't really think that we solved it, or this is going to be one of those recurring IDS topics that you're going to talk about every week. When the meeting is running and you click discussing, Etho will automatically track how much time that you've spent discussing that item. It will show up on the meeting recap later, but once you are done discussing that and you want to keep it for later, you click off of the discussing, and the next time you come in, you take a look and you can see who last clicked on discuss and when. Also, you can see our numbers here. We have up, down voting. Every user who is an attendee in the meeting has one vote. They can vote each topic up one or down one. And when the group collaborates upon these IDS topics, it allows the meeting facilitator to see which topics are popular, which topics are not so popular with the people who will be attending the meeting. Now, as the facilitator, they can make the decision on what topics will be talked about first, and to do that, you can simply use the little hamburger over here and move those topics there. And when we get into IDS details, you can see the context of where this IDS came from. You can now place IDS topics into multiple meetings if you would like, so that they can be discussed in more than one meeting. You can add these topics to rocks if you would like, and you can surround each IDS topic with a color indicating its level of importance if you want to. And we have IDS history. So in this case, we have just created this topic. You can see when it's created. If the date was changed, if anything was edited, that will all appear on this historical timeline that you'll be able to scroll up and down upon. Our new text editor does allow for typing, obviously, but you can import files, you can insert images, you can create tables, you can even insert media like YouTube clips if you would like. And like other places within the application, if you just don't want to type and you want to capture the essence of the discussion, simply click the microphone to begin transcription. Once transcription is done, click off the mic and summarize if you would like, and AI will give you a summary of the discussion on that IDS topic. And much like IDS, we have some improvements to our to-dos. Same text editor that you can drag and drop images, you can copy paste images, links, anything you want to really make that to-do stand out and have all the information that it needs. To-do history, just like the IDS history, will see when it was created, if a due date was changed, or if the owner was changed, anything like that will show up in the history. And then in our advanced options, you can have reminders when this is due, so the assigned to or the owner of the to-do can be reminded 5 days, 2 days, or 1 day out. You can also set this to-do to reoccur, so you can make this a weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annual reoccurring to-do. Once you select one of those options, it will ask you how frequent, how many times that happens, and then you can set the end date for that recurrence. If I were to do this, let's say all the way through September 15th every week, so weekly now, this to-do would populate on Jim's to-do list without him having to create anything else. Really neat feature right there. And of course, if the details of this to-do were somewhat lengthy, you always have the option to transcribe what you want to say and then have AI summarize what was said within that task, and you're good to go. One other thing to note, if you create a new to-do and you know you're going to be creating more and more and more, instead of just saving those, you can click Save and Add. The to-do creation modal will stay open and you'll be able to create another one without having to hit close and then add new to-do. So just saves you a little time on that end. Now let's look at guests and their options. Guests, when invited, do have the ability to add their own IDS topics. They can see details of IDS topics. They can even up and down vote on IDS topics as well. At the end of the meeting, if a guest has joined, they will have their own little square with their rating box. Most places, or they'll have their first and last name or their email, depending on how they were added, but they too have the option to rate the meeting that they attended. And when the meeting has ended, they will also receive a meeting recap. And within that recap email, you now have links that are live that users with accounts can click on and be brought to that specific IDS topic or that task to see specifically what was said about that. And as always, once a meeting is ended and if a recap is sent, we have our nifty little recap, and you can see the last time this meeting was run, and we can see this one ran at 29 minutes on the 15th of August at 11:24. We can see who was in attendance and what all happened within that meeting. So those are our updates to meetings, the capstone of Etho, which should allow employees to collaborate well, to be more efficient, and have all the resources they need in one place in order to accomplish the goals set forth.